Greetings and to Oxford Bookstore. Thank you for having me to give you my recommendations as to sort of top 10 list of books that you must all read. Well, since I've devoted the last decade of my life and more now to practicing the career of a politician, let me first suggest a few books on politics that I believe would inform most of you who care about the issues, ideas and values that really matter in politics. Start off with Plato's Dialogues rather than his alarmingly utopian The Republic, because of course even though the most famous lines in that, those attributed to his teacher Socrates, are debatable, I think that there's no better exposition of the idea of universalism or of the existence of timeless verities applicable throughout the political world. Then comes the Mahabharata, my favorite of the whole lot, composed sometime between the 4th century BC and the 4th century AD, told and retold for these 800 years, which has tremendous relevance not only in the political context but also the philosophical, cultural, personal and beyond. The great epic depicts a world of conflict and betrayal, opportunism and high principle, lust and disinterested action. All of the contrasts of human behavior are there, and it rewards retelling, as I tried to do myself in my first work of fiction, The Great Indian Novel, where I tried to ask the question, what would a 20th century Ved Vyas write about the great Indian story of his time? But the fact is that all of this, I think, still comes through from the original Mahabharata itself in any translation, offering us insights indispensable to our contemporary polity and its problems. Then, of course, there's Kautilya's Arthashastra about the 4th century BC as well. The world's most pragmatic political primer, certainly the oldest, 16 centuries or 18 centuries older than Machiavelli. A ruthlessly unsentimental disquisition on statecraft, rooted in the assumption that politics is about power rather than principle. And its analysis of the competing interests of neighboring states could be applied to many parts of the world today without amendment. And then if I were to mention a fourth political book, it would be Jawaharlal Nehru's Timeless, The Discovery of India, which spells out a profound vision of what has made India and shaped Nehru himself. It's a magnificent evocation of India throughout its history, culture, politics and ideas, and at a time when Pandit Nehru's life and legacy are under challenge as never before, I think reading his own work provides the best insight into his own mind. My own book, Nehru, The Invention of India, now 17 years ago, but reissued a couple of years ago, anchors itself in his intellectual contributions as well as in his life and work. And then, of course, to turn to a little bit of fiction as well, because life is more than politics, I would recommend 100 Years of Solitude, the great Nobel-winning laureate Gabriel Garcia Marquez's extraordinary, magical reinvention of the Latin American experience. Any book by P.G. Wodehouse, really, if you want a diversion, sheer escapism and literary delight all in one going. Maybe Heavy Weather is one of the funniest of his well-crafted masterpieces, among many others he's written, but there's so many you could pick. You can't go wrong with almost any, particularly in the golden years from the 1920s to the 1940s. Practically nothing is unreadable from the Wodehouse oeuvre. The Saga of Khasak by O.V. Vijayan is an Indian novel I would recommend, and originally a Malayalam novel that invented magic realism just about the same time that Garcia Marquez was attempting it, but in a very different sensibility, and I would strongly recommend that. The Book of Laughter and Forgetting by Milan Kundera, a moving, evocative experience of East European history under the communist era, informed by a rare insight into humanity. And finally, for a recent book that I found a lot of fun and lent to so many people and never got it back, The 100-Year-Old Man Who Jumped Out of a Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonsson. It's the funniest, most joyous book I've read in years, one which I've really thoroughly enjoyed because it's 20th century political history retold through an ingenious plot in a comic caper, a sort of Forrest Gump meets I don't know, madcap Richard Gordon or something that never ceases to surprise and delight. So Use books for escape, for education, for entertainment, and for edification. Have fun, stay safe, be well.